Action! Hello. Welcome to those that are new here. My name is Katie. You are listening to episode 3 of the Aligned Souls podcast. I have decided to set up in my kitchen today because you know what? Why not? I'm going to see if I can just leave that there and just chat. It's a beautiful rainy day, and I thought I would jump on and chat to you more about the home that made me, or the family that made me, or whatever you want to, your upbringing, my upbringing. We all grew up so differently. And what and how that has shaped me for who I am today and my beliefs. Because a lot of us have really core beliefs that we just thought, we were born with. But I think obviously as you grow up, you get shaped into the person you are and your belief systems and your morals, your ethics, and the rest of it. So let's get straight into it because I don't think I have a lot of storage on my phone. I I think the main thing for me when I think back to my childhood or my upbringing was that we didn't come from a lot. So back in Vietnam, mum and dad were very well off compared to, I guess, a third world country or other Vietnamese families. Dad was an electrical engineer, mum was a designer and wedding dress creator. So she had multiple boutiques around Ho Chi Minh, and they were actually named Katie Boutique, or like I don't know why she came up with the name Katy, but that was back in Vietnam. So it's not a direct translation of my Vietnamese name. Um, and we just adapted it when we got here, and I got sick and tired of being teased in primary school for my Vietnamese name, which is Nhu, or Nhu is how you say it in Vietnamese, so Nhu. And then when I got married, I just changed my name completely. Anyway, it's a different story another day. And dad was an electrical engineer. So when we moved here, things were completely different. We had like housekeepers and maids and I guess ompers or whatever you call them. Even just the photos of my childhood that I look back on, like I would always wear these beautiful big princess dresses because mum was a designer. And when we came here, from what I've heard and obviously witnessed, it's a very stark difference in the sense of dad wasn't able or didn't get his qualifications transferred to the equivalent and then worked in what he was, skilled in. He just got whatever job he could at the time, doing all different things like factory work, warehouse work, farm work. And mum also did a lot, as I've mentioned briefly before, the buying and the selling, the negotiating, the business mind, that's all from mum. She would always go and find the best bargains and then on sell or resell or source and supply. That's all her. So anyways, we didn't have a lot of money growing up here in Australia. I remember just moving houses a lot. Like we were never really stable in one place. And as hard as they did try to buy a house, they just never eventuated for our family. So proudly enough, I'm going to say I was the first of our family members to buy a house at the age of 21. I worked at Qantas for some time, maybe 2 years, not even that long. And one day I just decided to go book in with a mortgage broker and see what the process was, understand what the requirements were. Next minute, I had a pre-approval for, a $400,000-500,000 loan. And found a house, put an offer in, got accepted, bang, 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 and I owned a house at the age of 21. So really big proud moment for me, even though my fellow Asians will understand this. Never fully got the, tick of approval from dad, or it was never voiced or verbalized to me. It was always expected that, we would finish school and go to uni and get that degree and get that career that made money and be someone and something. Little did he know. Here I am doing a podcast. No. So for me, my childhood was very much, I felt very unstable in that we had to move quite a bit. On the top of my head, could not tell you how many homes we stayed in until I was basically 17 or 18. It was definitely more than I could remember or count. So enough, right? And it wasn't because they didn't try. They tried very hard. And there was a moment in Mount Lawley on Guildford Road that was our most long tenured lease. And I feel like that was a core memory for me growing up. We were all in the same household. I had my own room. My brothers had their own room. My sister would stay with my mum and my dad in their room. And that was at the later age of high school basically. So I guess the instability or the moving around pushed me to get to where I am today. I knew in my heart that I wanted to do something with psychology and connecting and understanding the brain and helping others in that way. I just was not academically, I say I'm not, but I mean, I got a pretty good, a TEE score, I think they called it back then, and I was able to get into uni. But again, from a family that didn't have money and stability, how was I supposed to put myself and my family in financial debt to do a degree I wasn't even 1,000% sure on because of learning, the exams, all of that. It was so stressful. Obviously it is for everyone, but I just wanted to work. So I got to working before I even finished school. Like many of you, started at fast food joint, Hungry Jack's down in Mount Lawley. Shout out. The little drive-through one, that's still there, I believe. And did a few years there. Then after that and after school, I went into retail, did a lot of retail. I did telecommunications, did sales. And as you can tell, this was probably where all of that side of things stemmed from to become who I am today. But I wanted to introduce and also reflect for myself what I learned from each one of my family members and the environment I grew up in. So I'm going to shout out to my mum first. Look, I don't think any of them are going to be listening to this podcast, but maybe one day when I'm not here, they will, and they'll be like, oh, she said something nice about me. I love my family, don't get me wrong, love them to bits. But yeah, I always felt that pressure to, if I couldn't help the family on the bigger scale, I didn't want to be the burden to the family, if that made sense. So I chose to leave home when I was about 17 with my then boyfriend, and I moved south of the river. I was living obviously in Mount Lawley at the time, and then my first house I bought south of the river. But yeah, shout out to my mum. Mum, oh my goodness. The things that I have learned from you, even if you didn't realize that I was learning, or I didn't even realize I was learning, are skills and just who I am is all because of her, all because of you. The business mind, like I said, but beyond that, it wasn't just all the buying, the selling. It was the fact that she taught me you never take from someone, anyone, your friends, your family, strangers. You never take without giving, right? There's always this exchange, and that really, 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 really sat with me. And till this day, I live my life like that. A lot of people look in and be like, oh, how do you do that? How do you get people to give you so much? Like, you're always getting free stuff, not in that respect, but people are always giving more than they need to with you. Like, how do you do that? And I don't consciously go out there and give just so I receive. That's not the message here. The message is that I have an understanding that life is an experience, and the ones that we come across, the moments and the memories that we create, there's always that exchange of energy and time and money and love. So I give a lot, and in my earlier days I did this. I gave so much to people that probably never deserved it and would be left with nothing in return, whether that be love and support, time, money, whatever, right? So I learned very quickly that there was that exchange, that I didn't need to give to the wrong people, right? So Mum, thank you for sharing that lesson with me, even though you may not or may know it. Just even simple things like if you go into someone's house or like an event, or you pop over to your friend's place, you'd always bring something. Like it's just I guess maybe a traditional Asian thing, or maybe it was just my mum, but you just never rock up empty-handed. And I really apply that to my life. Like I never go into a friendship or a relationship expecting everything from someone. Like I don't burden people with my stuff. I share when I'm able to, and I feel safe to, and I'm vulnerable enough to, but I also know that I can give back just as well. So there's always that exchange. So that part of me is thanks to my mummy. My dad, oh goodness. Not going to go deep and cry or do any of that stuff. I think there's a whole separate episode for this. My dad has taught me the importance of the word enthusiasm. From the youngest age, he taught me the meaning of the word enthusiasm, how to spell it, how to apply it in life. And I think that's really stuck with me, right? Like whatever you do it with gusto. You just have that go get it energy and enthusiasm for life, because that brings hope, that brings joy, that brings purpose. So for that, Dad, thank you for teaching me the word enthusiasm. I now try to teach Naomi that in everything she does, and it is so important in life to have enthusiasm. Even when you don't feel like you have the energy or the purpose or whatever, just to have enthusiasm about life and about, it's important. Like I said, I don't want to get into too much more about my dad. It's a separate episode, but for that, thank you, Dad. My oldest brother, back-to-back hard ones. He is no longer with us. We lost him in 2012, and again, another episode, but for now, the lessons he taught me was, what was his biggest lesson? I think for me, his biggest lesson to me was to just have fun. Stay true to who you are and have fun. Like he never directly taught that to me, but just the way he lived his life has taught me that you don't have to have it all figured out, that life is so short, and that if you love something like singing, rapping, dancing, podcasting, just do the thing, right? Worst case, people will judge you and not support you, but so what? You just still did it because you wanted to. And for me, that's going to be a really key learning from him, is that you are never too old to have fun. You are never too old to care about others and animals and things that you want. So you just live your life how you want to live it, so long as you're not hurting anyone else. That's going to be his lesson to me. My other brother, who is still with us, pain in the ass, no, I love him. He has always taught me this lesson, always, and it's stuck with me. Never lie. Just don't lie. Just be true and have truth in what you do, and he will always have my back. And I think that was so key earlier on for me as a, teenage girl that didn't really have that fatherly figure there, in the sense. I don't know if you can hear the rain. But yeah, that's his lesson to me that I value so much, is that just be true to who you are, speak your truth, don't lie, there isn't a need for it. If people don't like what you have to say, well, they're not your people. Say it to some others, say it to yourself. But whatever you do, just be truthful. That's a very great lesson. Thanks, Nyat. My sister, my little baby sister, she refuses to listen to this podcast. So naughty, but one day you will, and you'll hear this. My little sister has taught me an immense amount of love. Like, okay, I feel tears coming and I'm not going to because I do not have time for that. Being 9-10 years apart from each other, when she came along, it completed my life, and it completely changed my life because I didn't feel like I belonged at all. And to have her come along, oh my gosh, and I could look after her and I could love her and I could be that big sister, it made me want to be a mum for sure, like 1,000%. When I had her in my arms, I knew I wanted her for myself. I think I've said this in a few posts before, that I did treat her like my baby. So she definitely taught me that I was made to be a mum and that I was freaking good at it, you know? So thanks, baby sis. I'm going to stop it there because I will just keep crying and I don't want to do that. So yeah, that is my family in a snapshot, and that is why I guess I am who I am today as well, the family that shaped me. So thank you to you all. One day, hopefully, you'll get to hear this and be proud. I'm proud of myself. And to my viewers, if you have similar stories, if you have anything that you'd like to share, my inbox is always open. I'm actually going to record a few special things that I can drop through the week for you, because I've had a few requests for meditation and like gratitude offerings and just little things that aren't going to take a whole lot to do. And I'm going to do that and drop them probably Wednesday midweek. So follow along, subscribe if you like, or don't, whatever. But I appreciate the ones that show up. I appreciate the ones that send me messages of like just support, or just even a like to strangers. Like so appreciated. But I hope you enjoyed that session. Not too heavy, not too long, hopefully. Again, don't have my timer. Someone buy me a timer. I really enjoyed recording that. Until next week, love you. Stay safe. Mwah, 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 mwah. Katie out.